It started with the sound of laughter echoing in the quiet evening as I leaned against the counter of the softly lit kitchen, the scent of something half-cooked in the pan filling the air, though the truth was neither of us cared about the food anymore, because the only thing that felt alive in that moment was the way his presence pressed against me without even touching, the magnetic pull of his body making me more restless with every stolen glance, and when I turned my head just slightly to look at him, his dark eyes caught mine with such fierce intensity that I forgot how to breathe, the world shrinking until it was just me, him, and the pulse of desire that threatened to break free, and I thought about how reckless this was, how wrong it would look to anyone else, but inside my chest there was only the truth of wanting him, of needing him close, even if only for 2 secret hours we could pretend the rest of the world didn't exist. He leaned across me to grab the salt from the shelf, his arm brushing mine, and even that tiny touch sent sparks down my skin like fire catching on dry leaves, my lips parting involuntarily as if my body was betraying the need I had fought to keep hidden for so long, and he noticed it. I could see it in the faint curl of his mouth, the dangerous smirk that told me he knew exactly what he was doing to me. How his nearness melted my resistance with every second. The pan hissed on the stove, but neither of us looked at it. Our attention tangled only in the charged silence between us, until his hand, rough but careful, brushed against mine as he set the salt down, lingering longer than necessary, and I felt my chest tighten with the weight of wanting more, so much more, and when I lifted my gaze to meet his, the distance between us seemed unbearably fragile, a wall we were about to break. He whispered my name like it was a secret, his voice low and rough, and I swear I could feel it against my skin, a vibration that sank deep into me, and I answered without words, stepping slightly closer, my shoulder grazing his chest, and suddenly the air was too thick, the kitchen too small, the world too heavy, and then he leaned in, slowly, as though giving me the chance to pull away, but I couldn't, and when his lips finally brushed mine, it wasn't soft or tentative but hungry, desperate, like he had been waiting just as long as I had, and everything inside me unraveled, my fingers clutching at his shirt as if I could anchor myself to him while my heart threatened to burst with the sheer intensity of the kiss. His hands found my waist, strong and unyielding, pulling me against him until there was no space left, only heat and closeness and the taste of him on my lips, and I knew then that there was no turning back, not tonight, not ever, because once you taste something this real, this consuming, you can't let it go. The food on the stove burned, forgotten, smoke curling faintly in the air, but neither of us noticed, lost in the chaos of mouths meeting, parting, meeting again, his breath mixing with mine, my head spinning as his hands roamed up my back, fingers spreading wide as if he wanted to memorize every curve, every detail, every part of me. I broke the kiss just enough to whisper that someone might hear us, but my voice betrayed me with how unsteady it was, and he only smiled, brushing his lips against my ear, murmuring that he didn't care, that in this moment it was only me he wanted, only me that mattered, and the way he said it, low and urgent, made me shiver all over, my knees weakening until he had to steady me against the counter. I let out a shaky laugh, but it died quickly when he kissed me again, slower this time, deeper, his tongue brushing mine, his hands cradling my face like I was fragile and precious even though his body pressed against mine with undeniable urgency, and when I felt his heartbeat racing as fast as mine, I knew this wasn't just desire, it was something heavier, something dangerous, something we wouldn't be able to hide. I tangled my fingers in his hair, pulling him closer, the kiss growing wild again, until I had to break away just to breathe, my chest heaving as he rested his forehead against mine, both of us trembling from the intensity, and for a long moment we just stood there, breathing each other in, the world outside fading completely. He took my hand then, gently, and without a word he led me out of the kitchen, the dim lights casting our shadows against the wall as we moved through the quiet hallway, our hands gripping tight, our steps hurried as if afraid the moment would slip away if we paused too long, and when we reached the living room, he pulled me close again, spinning me into his arms, his lips finding mine in another kiss that stole every ounce of breath I had left. The couch was behind us, and I stumbled back onto it, pulling him with me, and the weight of him above me made me feel both safe and utterly undone, his lips trailing down my jaw, his breath hot against my neck as I arched beneath him, my hands clutching at his shoulders as if to keep him there forever. The clock ticked in the background, reminding us how little time we had, but in those moments it felt like the 2 hours stretched into eternity, every second sharp and alive with the fire between us. He whispered against my skin that he had tried to resist, tried to keep it hidden, but seeing me every day, being near me, had been unbearable, and he couldn't fight it anymore, and hearing that broke something inside me, because I had felt the same, carried the same weight of wanting and denying, and now here we were, finally letting go, finally giving in. My answer was in the way I kissed him again, fierce and unrestrained, in the way I pressed closer, giving myself over completely to the storm he had unleashed inside me. We moved from the couch to the window, where the moonlight spilled through sheer curtains, painting his face in silver light, and I thought I had never seen anyone so beautiful, so alive, and when he kissed me there, with the city lights beyond us, it felt like the rest of the world had disappeared, leaving only this secret universe we had created in our 2 stolen hours. The intensity only grew as time slipped by, every touch more urgent, every kiss deeper, as though we both knew it couldn't last forever and wanted to burn as brightly as possible before the moment ended. His hands traced fire along my skin, and mine answered in kind, both of us lost to the hunger that had been building for so long, and though words were scarce, every glance, every sigh, every breath spoke louder than anything we could have said, telling each other what we had hidden for too long, that this wasn't just passion, it was love in its most dangerous, desperate form. By the time the 2 hours began to fade, by the time we found ourselves back in the kitchen where it all started, the food long forgotten, the smoke cleared, we were both trembling with the weight of what we had shared, our bodies pressed together as if afraid to let go, our lips still swollen from endless kisses, our eyes locked with the silent promise that even if the world never knew, even if we could never speak it aloud, these 2 hours would live inside us forever, etched in our hearts as the night we stopped pretending, the night we gave in, the night we let love consume us completely.